Tonight, we got Shock with Vinny Price. That requires a change of scenery a little bit, because we're watching Shock, and Vincent Price is in it. We have to include the Vincent Price warning to have a mop and bucket ready for your uncontrollable urges upon seeing the beauty that is Vinny Price. And that was, of course, made by Oops, Not Good. We thank them for their hard work and submission of the Vinny Price warning. Shit, is that the clock tower from Back to the Future? Also, a word of warning, this is a mustacheless Vinny Price. I know you may have seen it in the title, but there is no mustache on the Price.
Oh, lady. That's how guys lose their jobs, not collecting fares.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm a little excited.
Thank you, lady.
She was about to skip on down on that bill. What a bitch.
I thought for 2 years he was dead, and now I don't know if he's been hurt or what.
Please don't be upset, Mrs. Stewart. Perhaps
This is how you get a free room. You brought a picture of him to the hotel room? Why? Hey, why'd you do that? So you can compare if he's got some real rash. He got some real damage from the war. You can be like, oh man, this is rough. But if I squint, she's looking around like, this is fucked up, man. Shouldn't have taken those mushrooms before falling asleep.
Paul!
Gross, dude. I'll be Paul. Somebody just opened the door. Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna sleep. We're on vacation. I don't know how to read clocks. You're arriving by helicopter? He just fucking paratroops in through that window.
Then I'll call the newspapers. Careful, cautious Richard, destroying everything he is for the sake of a cheap...
Get away from that
you
phone,
asked for it,
Margaret.
and you're going to get it.
Leave that phone
I'll enjoy
alone,
telling your
Margaret
friends
sounds like a
that
real
I've
bitch.
always been up to...
Oh, damn! Oh, damn! You done crossed Vinny Price. With the candlestick, bitch! Oh, man. I'm sorry. Were you stepping to Vinny Price? Were you telling Vinny Price how things were gonna go? Mm-mm. Enjoy a face full of candlestick. Wha-bow!
Lieutenant, you really had us worried. I'm glad you finally got here.
For a while, I wasn't sure we'd make it. The weatherman through the book at us.
Well, you're in for a real welcome.
816C, boy. Oh,
That damn
all right.
weatherman throwing
I'd
books.
kind of like to...
Would kind of like to surprise her with my D.
Well?
She certainly fucked up. I don't know what it means.
Hello, Dr. Cross. This is Blair in the hotel. How are you?
The hotel.
Say, I've run into something that's right up your alley. One of the guests here's had some sort of shock.
You're gonna be so stoked.
No, I don't know what caused it.
This dude just can't even think over his
You'll be right
boner,
with
man.
us.
She was so alive when I saw her last. I suppose it is plausible that she hasn't been feeling well. Worrying about me, not knowing whether I was dead or alive. Then coming here and not finding me.
Yes.
That'll be Dr. Cross.
Everything is centered around me. And Mr. Cross.
Doctor, good morning.
Badow.
Appreciate your
I don't know if there's any females in the stream at all.
She doesn't know.
But I would love to know
Doesn't
their
seem to know
opinion on
anything.
mustache versus mustacheless
Were you
on
here
Vinny
when it
Price.
happened? I just got in a few minutes ago.
presence may excite her and do her more harm than good.
It's just that it's been so long since I've seen her.
Why don't you drive up with me tomorrow? Miss Jordan?
You don't understand how
will you
horny
call
I
the
am. I've been a
hospital and
prisoner
tell
of
Miss Hatfield
war.
to have- Yes, that's
I
right.
need some vagina, Mr.
Hotel.
Price. I need some.
Right.
Now who dis? Who dis and what has she got to do with anything?
I'm from Dr. Cross's office.
Why has she got a hockey puck on her head?
Yes, they're on their way down now.
Hey, did you kill her? I mean... Driving her to the secluded sanatorium. It's a Vincent Price Wonder Emporium. Cheated on my wife and she figured it out, so I murdered her ass in a hotel. And this chick saw... I got a question. Is he more attractive without the mustache? It's one of life's biggest mysteries.
Dr. Cross, Mrs. Stewart. Who? Who's hurting the woman?
That man.
That rubbishly good-looking man.
Husband.
Do no harm, unless it's your nagging wife.
Yes? Can you come now, Doctor? They're having trouble with Mr. Edwards again. Yes.
But Mr. Edwards didn't see me kill anybody, so Mr. Edwards will fucking wait!
She's worse. Not really. She was restless and we gave her a sedative. You've got to be patient, Lieutenant. It's going to take time.
You do not understand. I am horny.
Mrs. Stewart. You're going out on that balcony again, Mrs. Stewart.
You dropping a
Looking
beat?
into the other apartment.
You can't risk it. I won't let you.
I know what I'm doing, Elaine.
Darling, you're not thinking clearly.
I've never seen things so clearly before in my whole life.
Guys, don't fight now. A woman's dead because of your relationship. Yep, this bitch crazy.
You'll send me a report on her. I'm not sure I completely agree this was all brought on by her husband's late arrival. That was a contributing circumstance. I feel there may have been something else.
That's always possible, of course, sir.
Please tell me he kills this dude in his office.
Will you have a cigar, sir?
Yes, thank you. Let's
It's a
continue
fake
the
cigar. It's a
present
piece of
treatment
dynamite.
comes along.
Yes.
By the way, how's Margaret?
I'm joining her at the lodge.
Give her my regards when you see her.
Because she's dead.
Well, I better
At
talk
the
with you, young man.
lodge.
Sometimes I...
We have to go back, Marty. Who dis? Are we just including a homicidal crazy person in the middle of this movie? Is this actually like Arkham Asylum? He's gonna start breaking out the Riddler and Clayface and everybody. Is anyone gonna take care of Victor Zsasz here? Like, what are we doing here?
Jane on her day off.
The worst security ever. This woman has been through so much, man. We don't need to put her through more. What? Hey, creepy.
Why, Mr. Edwards, you shouldn't be in here. Come, I'll take you back to
Don't
your...
Does she witness 2 murders?
Aren't you, Mr. Edwards?
That's the look of a man who has been beaten by doctors.
He hit her on the head and he killed her. Her husband killed her.
Talking crazy. Let's give her more sedatives.
She's out of her head. She's got a crazy idea she saw a murder. What am I going to do?
You're gonna sit tight. She's in good
Believe
hands.
women?
They keep telling me, but... It's
Hashtag.
getting worse.
The body of Mrs. Margaret Cross, wife of the noted psychiatrist, has just been recovered from its resting place among the rocks at Point Locust.
It's weird. It seems like the rocks repeatedly hit her in the head, even though she just fell once. It's weird. It's time to party. Let's party. I killed my wife and no one thinks I did.
Driving back, there was time to think. I got to thinking about you.
Oh shit.
I asked myself, is she worth what I've done?
Ooh.
Well,
Apparently that's a yes. Apparently that's a big ol' yes.
that's
Y-E-S.
a very satisfactory answer. If we can encourage her to talk, convince her husband that she's insane, we can keep her here as long as it suits us.
We can fuck with their lives forever. Honey, tell him to stop giving me drugs. I'm not crazy. They just bone right. She's not looking at him.
You've upset her, Lieutenant. You shouldn't have come in here. Come outside with me. Give her a hypodermic, nurse.
Don't leave me here.
Hypodermic of what? Also, this might be very offensive, but Vincent Price without a mustache gives me Dennis Reynolds vibes from It's Always Sunny, and that makes me sad.
Haven't I told you many times, Mrs. Penny, that no one here is trying to kill you?
Oh, yes, they are. You all want to kill me. You're murderers, all of you. But I've learned. I'm too smart for you.
This is just the crazy person we keep around to get away with murder. She's been real helpful in a pinch.
What you've just heard...
Are you trying to tell me my wife is out of her mind?
No. Out of the mind denotes complete loss of reason. Mrs. Stewart hasn't reached that stage.
But
she's just straight bonkers.
Right now, she's merely suffering delusions.
That shit crazy.
However,
a dum-dum.
I feel it...
Not touching. Last person who touched my hand like that, I murdered with a candlestick. I mean, treated their problems. He does the kind of... He gives a little Peter Cush vibes. I'll agree with that. Little Peter Cush. There's something about... I don't know what it is, but when he's explaining something that's obviously bullshit, maybe, it's just like so much Dennis Reynolds coming off of his ass.
She wanted me to call the police. For a moment, she became very violent. I had to give her a sedative. I think we ought to do something about her.
I agree.
We've just been drugging her constantly.
A few minutes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You were arguing with her about a divorce.
Look. In print, which never lies.
He's from the district attorney's office of Monterey.
Ooh.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Ooh, maybe some detectives figured out his little scheme. He's like, oh, I'm gonna have to murder some district attorney office guy.
Mrs. Cross spent much of her time there. She must have known those cliffs pretty well, even at night.
Yes.
I'd hate to think. I'm not saying it was a murder. I'm just checking.
Of course. I'll do everything I can to help you.
I don't know why, Rick, but that was just a perfectly timed oops.
Have you checked your place to see if anything was missing?
I'm sure there isn't.
The Vincent system.
Darling,
Violently kill your wife. Insert her in trunk.
Where have you been?
City.
When you weren't here for dinner, I began to worry. What did the man from the district attorney's office
I
want?
can't think of it. I can't do
They're
it.
going to... First it was Margaret, and then tricking that child so that she'd forget. Then convincing her that she was insane.
Oh, now you have a conscience? You did not have a conscience when you smashed your wife with a candlestick, man.
Richard.
Woo.
Remember the first night I came here?
Look at that. Look at that slick pajama man.
Hello, Doctor. She was struck with a candlestick.
A candlestick? Are you sure?
A heavy silver one.
How can you know?
Microscope. There were particles of silver in the wound. They told us it was a silver object. There were bits of wax mixed in with the silver. They told us it was a candlestick. Must have been a heavy candlestick to have done the damage.
That's the face of a man who knew nothing about it.
Brought on by injections of insulin. The dosage and the degree of shock is gradually increased until we've reached what we feel is the limit the patient's system can stand.
Well, if you do give Janet this insulin, how certain can you be?
I think that'd be. I think that's. You're right. That would be the divider. Time to murder. I think he's been jerking off ever since he got out of that POW camp. He's just been spurting like crazy, but he just wanted to get some real vagina. Just humming along, killing a lady, humming along, killing a lady. Killing a lady dead so I can get away with another murder. Hey.
Now watch her.
She's gonna do some crazy shit. I'm talking exorcist shit. She's gonna leave this bed. Gonna spin around. Uh-oh, she has to poopy. I wish there was like a kindly old nurse that just said that in the background. Uh-oh, she has to poopy.
And when was it she said that? Yesterday?
Yes, after the treatment.
Maybe we should listen to the woman.
You realize
Crazy
it's hard
idea,
to
I
make
know.
Generalization. Well, Lieutenant, I think a trip is in order.
We're gonna go beat some Vinny Price head. Yo! Dr. Cross. About to hit you with a right cross, then a left hook. Sometimes Vincent Price's face is just perfect for the moment, and that one was great.
Richard, listen to me!
Let go of me.
Richard, I love you! Let go! Richard!
She's real, and he murdered her. This doc's got a body count. Hey, don't look over there. Nobody go over there for a little bit. There might be a body there. Not saying I put it there. Oh, Vincent.
Don't worry, son. She'll come out of it in a couple of hours, and you'll be able to take her home in 2 or 3 days.
I'm very grateful to you, Doctor.
Huh, we got a dead woman over there. So, going to jail? Yeah, I figured. As long as I look super suave going in. He's like in a trance. Oh, well, the Vinny Price warning. We don't need that anymore. He's not going to be around. So we can put that away. I think what happened, Jonathan, Shadow, and I agree with you. The movie had a great setup and went nowhere. And I think the reason why is because a movie like this, the reason I think it should be remade is if like A24, if Blumhouse, or Twisted Pictures, like a horror production company, Monkey Paw, came up with this idea that a woman witnesses a murder and it puts her in a state of shock, and then the doctor who comes to check on her is the guy that did the murder, you would have a lot of fertile ground for this kind of story, and it would have the same beats. However, the movie's protagonist turns into Vincent Price, which makes no sense, because he's like a villain. He's the villain of the movie. So it becomes the struggle of what does he do with this situation, as opposed to the struggle of the woman who is being medicated and treated poorly because the guy who is the doctor doesn't want her to speak to the cops about the murder he 100% committed. So it's a movie where, like, from the beginning of it, I was 100% down, because it's like, okay, we got this woman. She's dealing with some tough times. Her husband's a POW. She thought he was dead. Now he's late. She's dealing with that feeling of losing him. And then she witnesses this murder, and then you're like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Then she gets put in the shock, which is kind of hammy, and the actors aren't really great, which is another reason I wish it was remade with actors that weren't so ham-tastic. And then the movie shifts focus to being about Vincent Price, who in theory we should be rooting against, yet he's the one having the big moments with this woman that he killed his wife for, and it seems like he is being pushed by her until he murders her. And really, you're supposed to be rooting for this woman and her husband, even though the husband is so dumb and ineffectual, who's just like, yeah, you know what, she keeps saying the doctor murdered somebody, and you know, she's just not snapping out of it. It's like, maybe it fucking happened there, Sherlock. Maybe the reason she hasn't stopped saying it is because it's the truth. I still like my idea that she was actually the mistress who was living a guilt-fed dream that she witnessed the murder of the wife. I mean, that's not a bad idea. And there was so much... Once I realized, like, oh yeah, we never saw the wife's face, like, the movie then kind of goes into Shyamalan territory, where you're like, oh shit, are we gonna get this huge twist? That's way... that's way out of the park for this movie. When did it come out again? Hold on. 1946. So, like, that's way out of the park for 1946. Like, that ain't I don't think that's gonna happen. It had a lot of potential. And once I realized what was going on, because the trailer I saw didn't really make any sense, and the trailer that I played on, was it, must have been Monday morning, didn't make any sense. Once I realized what's going on, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm down. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for Vincent Price. Because imagine scenes, if you will, imagine scenes where this doctor is trying to manipulate a woman's perception of herself and something she definitely saw with her own eyes to get out of a murder. And if this movie had much more dramatic scenes between those people, what are you going to say, the best of your lives, or which has many? If you had those really intense scenes, because it only happened really twice, where Vincent Price is in a room with her going like, so what did you see? Well, maybe 3 times. And she's like, he killed her. Like, no, he didn't. Like, if it was a movie about him trying all these things, and then the detective really leaning on him, so now he has to change his strategy, it'd be a better movie, I feel like, just because this movie came out when it did, and it's paced different, and there are obviously different priorities, and it has to be man-centric, because of course it does. And, you know, it just fell flat in certain areas. I think, you know, for this year, the year it came out, and it's not terrible. It just had so much potential for something that was really going to kick you in the balls. Yeah, it just needed more. It needed more meat on the bones of Shock. But we did get to see Vinny Price without a mustache. We got to see a mustacheless Vinny Price. That's worth the price of admission, which was free. Which, yeah, I mean, I would. It's one of those movies where I think I could talk about it for a while, because I don't know. I don't know. I think this movie could have been good if it was just made at a different time, which makes me think of, oh man, reboots. That's why I don't think reboot is a bad word, or remake. Had a little air bubble there. Reboots and remakes aren't necessarily a bad thing, because there are stories from the past that just with the update of storytelling ability can get better, and I think this would be one of them. This, The Red House, I think Naked Kiss would be fucking great now, if you, because that movie is shockingly intense for the subject matter, and a really weird story. Same with Red House, and a movie like this. I feel like if you put this in the hands of a guy that likes the story and wants to flesh it out, wants to put a little more on the shoulders of the husband, because he could have been more interesting. I think the detective could have been more interesting if he was a little, if he had a little more to him. Yeah, Red House all day. Red House gang all day. Hashtag Red House. You could have really fleshed this movie out if the characters had more to them, but they were so two-dimensional, and like they just served their one purpose. And like this fucking, was it Lynn? I don't know if even Lynn Bari is the woman that's being tortured this whole movie. The woman that plays Janet is going through fucking hell in this movie. Like, she is being straight tortured and manipulated. And like by the end of it, it's just like, oh, you get to be better now. And it's like, oh, we need to talk some motherfucking compensation. We need to talk some compensation, bitch. You had a murderer helping me this whole time. Yeah, like, exactly, Shadow. That's true. Oh man, now I want a sequel to this movie where it's just a courtroom drama about this woman, like, trying to get money from the state. I was recommended to a monster who I watched murder his wife and no one believed me. Oh man.